Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to the garden. Today's video just going to be starting work on this feature here, which is off the back of the rec pond feature. Now you may have seen in our last video guys building this feature over here, which we'll just take a quick look at, and I'll just show you a couple things on that one. Bear with me a moment, here we go. Alright guys, so as you can see from the build yesterday, got the water running. Now we're doing our first sort of water test. You know, quite like the flow on it. I think it's sort of the right amount of flow. I think with some of these features, if you have too powerful a pump, it can look sort of out of place. But typically with the kind of lower running pumps, even your trickle pumps, again, I find sort of less water compared to more water sometimes works better. Now one thing guys, and just to show you kind of the reality of building these types of features, as you can see here, I've removed part of the liner, or removed some of the rock that was in here covering the pondless section. Reason being, when I started to fill it, noticed it was draining probably more than it should do, even with evaporation. What I've come to discover, and again, this is, you know, again, the reality of building water features is being able to make adjustments when you need to. You can just see this part of the liner here. When I'd stuck that in with this rock here, it had sunk it down just below the top of this pot here. So it was not holding water to the top up here. Now of course guys, once the rocks are filled back in, you won't see any water here. It will just look like it's going into a pile of rocks. But just to show you guys, when you are building these things, you know, it is always worth being prepared, you know, to make adjustments after the fact. Another thing, guys, now, for me, I'm generally pretty good with trimming my liner back to the right level. But because we've gone in a circle, what it typically does is you can see over here, and I'll just show you briefly, is you can see all the folds here. Now what actually happened is one of these folds, it got tucked down below the water line, so this is kind of where it was leaking out before. But for the moment guys, I have adjusted it, lifted the liner. I'm going to run it for about an hour and a half, just see if there's any sort of other low bits that I may need to fix, and then we'll go back and put the rock back into here, and of course we'll show you what that looks like as well. But as we said guys, I'm just going to get started on this one here. Going to be removing the rock, getting the liner in, and slowly started building that up, and I'm going to do that over the next few days as well. But just follow along here, you see kind of what we're doing here. Alright guys, so just to show you here, I'm taking a look now. You can see we've added the stones back in, so it does appear once again to be sort of a pondless feature. I'm fairly happy now guys that the water level, if you can see just down in here, is sticking at the right level. You know, it's staying right by the top, which is exactly where it needs to go. If you have a look at my hand here, you can see we've got water just at the top there, so it's exactly where I want it to be. I don't want it to be too high to where it is not looking like a pond, but at the same time guys, I want it to just be at the top so that I know that level is sticking down. But as you can see here guys, the fall system I think turned out fairly nicely. You know, again, nice little trickle falls. Just coming over to here guys, and I'll just show you the update on this side now that we've done that. But for today guys, I would like to we're adding another friend of the channel, so certainly check that out. I'll be putting a video on the end screen. So the friend of the channel today guys is Ramos. So he's based out of, I believe, New Jersey in the US. Great channel guys, a lot of palms, a lot of the similar plants that we grow here. He also does a lot of videos on like the winter protection, so the boxing and stuff, as he gets much colder winters than we would get here. So very interesting, great knowledge on that side. You know, great channel overall. Certainly make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and then check out some of his videos. But let me just show you the end of this here guys, kind of where we got to today. Very basically guys, you know, I have used the end of my concrete. Reason being guys, I just had spare concrete around. I haven't got any foam on hand at the moment, but just starting the top of these falls section here. Now where the water is going to come up, as you can see, it almost just looks like a pile of rocks, but I think for this one here, I'm going to kind of try and use that design a little bit more, because what I'm going to be doing is covering this sort of top bit here with things like mosses, your plants, overhanging things, so that really should be kind of hidden once that's all planted in. The one bit I am trying to work on at the moment guys, I'll just come to the middle to show you, is the falls bit. So right here, that's the one bit I'm just once again, working on the best way to kind of position that. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that stone. It's just kind of there once again as a kind of indicator at the moment of kind of where I would like that spillway to be. Now you can see, guys, I've used an off-cut liner here. What I'll be doing is running that liner down into the water so it creates an overlap, and then that should mean that any water up the top here shouldn't be leaking out in to the dirt behind it. Again, these ones are going to be used very minimally, so it's more of a kind of dry stream bed. But with these guys, of course, you know, if I'm going to go through the trouble of building them, again, I'd really like to ensure that I can run water when I do wish to on that side. You can just see here at the top, guys, as well, just to briefly show you on the last bit. In the center here, we've added a little stone, again, just to kind of hide this little top mini pond here that's supplying the water feature. A bit more moss around it as well, and a bit more moss around the back just to hide the pump section. So you can just see here, guys, side profile. You know, it is pretty much sort of level to the ground now. This ground on the side here is all going to be lifted up. All of this dirt's going to be lifted up. So again, hopefully it should kind of marry this in a little better here. But with that said, guys, of course, yes, thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, certainly subscribe to follow along. Just really want to show you an update today of the pump from yesterday running, and of course the start of this project as well. But with that said, guys, certainly check out the video on the end screen over here. And with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.